Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome back for another card video. Today's card is using this Monster Fun set by Gerda Steiner Designs. It's not a Halloween set, but I'm using it as a Halloween set. I'm going to start by stamping my monster onto some Neenah Solar White cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. You know, I really don't color black very often. It's kind of hard to do with the Copic markers, but I kind of wanted him to be a really dark color. So I'm going to use C9 first, and you can see I'm being very careful with it. I don't want to use it in too many places because then it really doesn't show a shade. It's just more of just a black. So I just went around the edges of where the darkest shadow areas would be. And then I'm taking the C6, I'm just kind of pulling that in a little bit more, so blending it. Now I'm on the C4, and you can see I didn't put any of the C9 on the top of his arms. That way you could see that his arms were in front of his body. And now I'm finishing off with the C2. So I went through all of my colors. Now I'm going to add a few details here. I noticed that I kind of needed a little bit of roundingness on the edges of his mouth, so I added some C4, and then I blended that in with a little bit of the C2. And then I wanted to make his eyes look like they're seated a little bit further into his head. So I made the area around his eyes just a little bit darker. I'm just using the C6 right now. And then I'll take my C4 and sort of blend that out a little bit so it doesn't look like I have any harsh lines. And then if you look closely on the outsides of his teeth that are showing, there's not a lot of perspective there. So I'm going to add just a tiny little bit of the C6 and blend that again with the C4. So I think these tiny little details really add a lot to the coloring. I'm going to make him a little bit colorful in some other ways. So I'm going to use some green on his toes here. YG09, it's just really bright green. And then I thought it'd be fun to color his horns like candy corn. So I'm just using the YR04 on the bottom and the top, and then one of the segments in the middle will be yellow. And that's it for this little guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut him out with a scissor and work on the rest of the card. I'm using this Avery Elle Brights collection, the orange piece, and I'm gonna cut it to 1 3/4 inches. I'm gonna put some tape runner on the very top edge, and I've cut a black strip, and this is how I get a very tiny little sliver of black to show. So I just lay it on top where I just kind of even it out across the whole thing where there's just a tiny little bit showing. I'm going to flip this over, add some tape runner, and put it on the bottom of my card base, which is just A2 size. I'm using this Got Candy set by Ellen Hudson for my sentiment. I've just positioned my monster and put my sentiment in my Misty Elle stamp with some VersaFine Black Onyx ink. And then I have this Happy Halloween set by Simon Says Stamp. I love the spiders in here, so I'm going to make an odd number. I'll put 2 small ones on the left, and then I'll make a big one on the right, and I have them at all different levels, so I have some good variation. Then I use the flip side of that stamp for the larger spider. I just added some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to my monster and popped him up on the card. And that is the card for today. So pretty clean and simple. I love the look on this guy. I've used him multiple times. The stamp set is great. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.